Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales is now streaming live on Fun Media at fun927.com and is always on Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitch, and at tv5wrestling.com.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.
Hello, wrestling fans. Yellow again. Everybody, you don't even have to be wrestling fans. It's Randy Hales, and we're live as live can be. I'm broadcasting from my hometown where the Randy Hales story began, and that is Jonesboro, Arkansas, as we talk wrestling from Memphis. We'll talk wrestling from anywhere anybody wants me to talk wrestling about, but my expertise as being a former ring announcer, a former timekeeper, a former picture taker, a former ring announcer, did I say that? A former commentator, a former producer, director, booker, man, owner, founder, president of Power Pro Wrestling, and we're at you. We're punching you at you. We're nettling you. We're coming right at you as Talking Memphis Wrestling is on the air. Dennis King is in the house, ready for Memphis Wrestling. Greg in the house. Frank Seaton, my buddy from the other side of Arkansas. PJ from Thailand. Richard Hood is in the house. Calvin Thomas, all kinds of people here. This show is being produced by Adam Dunn, who doesn't have a microphone or a camera. He's somewhere not at home, so he will be pushing the buttons. The legendary producer and advisory role is on Old Hickory Lake in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And you know who I'm talking about, the legacy producer of the great, innovative music videos in the Jarrett Promotions area, my friend Randy Dandy. Randy West, also known as Randall, is ready to watch this show, and we know He's a little older than me, so he's probably a little sleepy, and that's why I'm being a little loud, a little fired up, a little excited, because we have a big show today. Now, for the panel, hopefully Pat Trammell will be here a little late, but we have one live panel member join us in just a second, because I'm cutting this sucker out, cutting it up, and taking it back. And normally I'm going to try to do with two people, and the one member that I just talked about, I didn't see him on the screen, but he's at the bottom hiding. But first served is the one we're going to bring in first. He's from South. That's a lie. He's from Jonesboro, Arkansas, where the Randy Health story began. But right now he lives in, and he works at, and he is a big shot assistant superintendent of the should have been state football champions, and they were plugging. But anyway, it's always next year. Want to bring on here in a great show today. We have so much stuff, and here's Chris Ellis to do his first take. Hey, Chris.
Hey, all right. Great to be back. Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody on. My first take is two things. The Raiders are playing the school from the west side of town today, the west side of Main Street, in basketball. So go Raiders. And I forget what the name of that school is on Main Street, but they're playing.
I can help you out a little bit. I can help you out. Where's my thing? I don't see it anywhere close. Anyway, I can help you out. I'll give you a hint. Open the roof. Let it rain. Give them freaking hell. Jonesboro High School Hurricane, my school. And let me tell you something. The Jonesboro Hurricane might not be in basketball shape as much as Nettleton is, because Nettleton didn't get as far along as Jonesboro did in football, but they'll be back. Play that game in January, and let's see what happens. But I'm still pulling for my Hurricane. That's your first take, number one.
Yeah, first take number two is the Razorbacks are trying to hire a football coach. They said they've interviewed 24 people. I sent them an email today and told them I'd work for $1 million a year to save them $5 million. I've got no response.
No response. Did you really send that?
I did. So, hey, y'all's having a hard time finding a coach. I got 21 years experience. I'll work for $1 million. I'll save y'all $5 million to spend on NIL, because good players make good coaches. So we'll go out and get good players. That it'll work. But I know they laugh. I don't care. I thought it was something fun to do. But hey, PJ, Frank, Richard, Greg. Hey, everybody. Hey, Thomas. Good to see everybody.
You forgot to say hello to the most important person in our audience. Now, they're all important, but Frank Seaton's important, PJ's important, but the most important person to me, my best friend from another mother, my pal, Randy West, is watching now. The recently married, I don't know if you know this or not, the recently married 2 weeks ago, maybe 1 week ago, Bo James is in the house. He's saying he is watching. What the hell is going on? All of a sudden, Bo James, because he married an Alabama girl. We have certainly Pat Trammell. He'll come in here in a minute. He's from Alabama. And we also have Michael St. John in the panel, one of Pat and Michael, legacy members. But they're from Alabama. Me and you are the only ones from the most important state there is, and we're not making claim. He might want to coach the Razorbacks for $5 million or $1 million or whatever he might want. But I am not a Razorback fan, period. Never have been, never will be. Whether they were winning or losing, I go with mostly losing, but I go with my team, the Arkansas State Indians, by God.
Yeah, that's what they were. That's what I was an Indian when I graduated there. Now, I'm not really a big Hog fan, but I figure for the money they're paying, I could do whatever. So I can be bought. Everybody has a price.
Some Gulas Welch stuff. I'm ready. Mainly, this is a Jarrett promotion stuff, but I have some Gulas stuff on this show. And Greg Rex says, I love my hogs. Delete his ass! Adam, I'm just kidding. I'm ribbing. A little humor. Now, drinking was forbidden in his Alabama country home. Alabama football is major. It's the real deal. There's life after Nick Saban, and I don't think it's as rough as it was when Bear Bryant left the Tide all those years ago. He is OG, original member. He walked into this show tonight just a few minutes late. That's why he's going second. I try to go first person in, first person on the air. By the way, Frank Seaton, put Chris's ass on the screen real quick. In the fourth quarter, Nettleton High School, 35. Jonesboro High School's really opening the roof, 65.
That may be the women's game.
Seaton.
May be the women's game. It didn't start till 6, so it's got to be the women's game.
Is that right, Frank? Is it the women's game? I don't think the women were playing tonight. By the way, my buddy Stephen Edder's 6-0, so let us know that. Want to bring in from Alabama. Get Chris off the air. Get him out the air because we have to bring the OG, the original, him and Michael St. John, and you'll see a lot of OGs in the weeks coming forward because we're going to go back to our roots as many weeks as we can. Hey, Pat Trammell, what's your first take and what's your first word?
Well, you certainly got your energy going tonight, which is a good thing. But I was thinking today about my first take, and I heard from Michael. I didn't get to touch base with him again. I heard from Bo. We were texting back and forth. I'm glad Bo's on. Congratulations, Bo. I was thinking, and I'm not a huge holiday fan. Now I've got the kids home, and you know, a certain member of this household who runs the show, she's real big on big holiday stuff and making it happen, even if nobody really wants to. But I'm thinking today. I worked. I did a basketball game. I kept the books for the Altamont Knights for the last 10 years. We've been in a tournament, so I had to work, hide from work, go back, hide from work. But I was thinking specifically about tonight in Thanksgiving weekend in the United States, just how lucky and fortunate I am to be able to be here with y'all every week that I can and hear from all our friends here from all over the Southeast and all over the world and everywhere else. And I'm really, really lucky. And I got on my Lance shirt because of it. And I was just thinking how fortunate I am. And thank you all for giving us the opportunity to be here together every Thursday night. So
Every
that's my
Tuesday
first
night.
day. Tuesday night.
Man, I can't believe it. Are you ready for some wrestling?
I'm ready for some wrestling. I've changed my format so I can look at the lineup every week now and have it right in front of me. So I am ready to go. I'm really excited about this week's show.
Hey, we have some great video, including old Nick Gulas footage. We got a 1977 match that you shared on Twitter a few weeks ago, and I've had it on the format before, but never got to it. We have the 1977 Paul Orndorff and Jerry Lawler TV match. We have pictures of the week. We have a wild brawl. We have cards of the week. It's a loaded show. And we will start right now with the hilarious video from Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's 4 minutes, 41 seconds. It's grumpy Harry Thornton and the pride of Huntsville, Alabama, beautiful Bobby Eaton. This is 4 minutes and 41 seconds as we watch now our opening video on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Chattanooga, January the 21st, close to the end of the Gulas Welch era, 1980.
Here we are here. And we have one half of the main event coming out. And
Larry Thornton, you know you've had a lot of tough tag teams around here, such as Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, the Blind Bombers. You've had a lot of tough competition, like Nick Gulas brings them, the toughest competition. But right now, you're looking at the greatest tag team, Harry Thornton, that's ever stepped foot inside a ring, inside this Mid-America territory, Harry Thornton. And we want to say one thing about Rocky Brewer. Rocky Brewer, you have stuck your nose in the wrong business, boy. You have busted my head open on occasion times. I don't know how many times he's blacked my eyes, Harry Thornton. He has hurt the great Togo. Tojo Yamamoto has our contract. He is our manager. And what he tells us to do, we do it. Now, he's running around with a guy that's not a Japanese guy. He's from Korea, right, Togo? He is from Korea, Mr. Oshiro. Now, we don't like guys like that. He couldn't cut it, so we got rid of him. Now, Rocky Brewer, anytime these two men right here can get a hold of you, boy, we don't care where it's at. Like I said, Harry Thornton, we're out for the greatest competition that Nick Gulas can bring him, and you do know that he brings us some good competition, or we wouldn't be here. But we do want you, Rocky Brewer, anytime, any place that we can get our hands on you. Tell him something, Togo. Tell him.
One reason Jim Cornette was his manager for a lot of his career, and he wouldn't shut up.
Came from Korea.
Frank?
Yeah.
He's not Japanese. I'm Japanese.
He's a
Bobby
great guy.
San, myself, we are Togo. Number one, Ichiban.
Right,
Right over
Thornton.
there.
yeah, what
You know what happened?
What'd you do?
Oshiro could not take it. Now, when a man cannot take it in the organization that we have, we're in for our money. Now, we saw fit this guy wasn't going to make the Japanese connection any money at all. So we had to get rid of him. We shipped him out. We shipped him out like a bag of rice that he is. No good, Harry Thornton. Rocky Brewer's no good. He's got a lot of tag team partners going to bring in, like Bill Dundee.
That's what people don't understand today. That political correctness was not part of this.
That's the understatement of the lifetime. Hi, Mark. What is going on? Happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy. And hey, Joe Mobley. Happy Thanksgiving to you, buddy.
That is promoted by Nick Gulas.
That's your opinion.
That is the opinion. That is a fact. We want all the competition. The Fargos have got the Southern Tag Team belt. We want the Southern Tag Team belt. We want the Mid-America Tag Team belt.
So.
He's the Mid-America champion, Harry Thornton. The Mid-America champion. And from now on, we're going to have so much gold around our waist that they're going to be holding the whole stock on us. You understand what I'm talking about? And all the rednecks out there, when you want to come in to see the greatest tag team right here, the great Togo, and beautiful Bobby Eaton, Harry Thornton. And don't you forget it. And you people up there in Redneck Land, don't forget it.
I'd like to forget it. Frank, I used to like that guy. What's that, Nick? We'll take a little break right here, friends, and be ready to go with more action.
That's from Chattanooga TV, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 1980.
Friends, that does it. That's another session of fine professional wrestling brought to you by Nick Gulas, NWA Mid-America Championship Wrestling. We look forward to seeing you again next week. This is Harry Thornton saying so long and have fun.
This has been Championship Studio Wrestling, promoted by Nick Gulas and sanctioned by the NWA, recognized the world over. Join us again next week for Championship Studio Wrestling.
All right, there we go. We'll start with Pat first. Pat, I think because he didn't do it a lot, that interview from Bobby was very good. Did that surprise you?
Truthfully, that shocks me because if you, I'm not being I'm not being. I'm not trying to be dismissive of anybody here. But I grew up in my hometown was the Alabama School for the Deaf, and so I grew up. I learned in second grade how to sign, and I did it all my life. And there are people, and my brother's in-laws were deaf, and so I could sign. You would think Bobby Eaton couldn't talk by by what you hear. Hell, what was Bobby 22 there?
I'm not sure, but he was awful young, that's for
Hey,
sure.
I mean, he's awful young, and he's as young as any decent 22-year-old you'd ever hear. But the truth is, you would understand that Bobby Eaton couldn't talk at all. Is what the narrative is. I thought he was fine.
I thought he was more than fine. Your word, Chris Ellis, on the beautiful one himself, Bobby Eaton.
Oh, I thought he was really, really good. It's just that, like Pat just said, the narrative's been, and you hit the nail on the head. Cornette did all the talking for the Express, but even when you go back to him and Coco being together as a team, he really never talked very much, but they always had a manager. They were
Jimmy
always,
Hart,
yeah,
manager there
Well,
in
if
the
Jimmy
first
Hart's your
game.
manager, Jimmy Hart and Jim Cornette, hell, you could live with them for 50 years and not say 6 words.
yeah. So that's where I was going with that. So he was in the stable there with Hart. He was with Cornette, but he was very, very good. And you just hear so many people talk about. I just watched a deal this week of Arn Anderson praising Bobby Eaton, talking about how great Bobby was. And in fact, when Arn left WCW, uh, Bobby hit him with the leg Alabama jam and pinned him in the middle when he left to go to WWE. He told that story this week, and he said he chose Bobby to do that because how much he thought of Bobby.
All right, that is great, and we have more Nick Gulas area. I'm going to need help with Pat on a video that we're going to show in the third segment of this show. Again, Adam Dunn is producing, and Adam, we will kind of go back and backtrack because Chris or Pat wasn't here last week. So go ahead, and the first picture after Rusty's graphic is 48.95, and we're going to show some stuff that we showed last week. I don't do that a lot. This is the first wrestling picture ever taken of Jerry the King Lawler. This
You know,
is
wow.
this
Never,
is in
never
West
seen.
Memphis, Arkansas, 1969 or 70. And we will go with the very next picture, which is a newspaper article. This is a Facebook post. This was on the City of Memphis Facebook page. And it was posted this past Friday, Flashback Friday, to Jerry Lawler's first ever wrestling match right here in West Memphis. Lawler still tells his story about Aubrey Griffin was the first wrestling promoter at the time that he'd ever met. I had never even been in a wrestling ring. I was also a DJ on the radio station. I told him I would matching some free plugs if he let him wrestle, Jerry Lawler said. But he was the promoter to actually have my first promoter to actually have a match with. He was running a promotion over there. He had the old Harlem Theater, which was an old depleted, rundown movie theater that they didn't use as a movie theater anymore. So he set up an old wrestling ring there. He had it every Saturday night in West Memphis. He would have his little matches. That was the first place I ever got a chance to wrestle, said Lawler. And the Harlem Theater was located at 903 East Broadway in Memphis, Tennessee. Flashback from last week, but it's something that I really thought, Pat, you would enjoy, our audience would enjoy, and Chris would enjoy. Your comment on that.
When I saw it, I couldn't figure out where it was, who it was, and I said, that looks just a bit like Lawler, but that is by miles and miles the oldest, earliest picture I've ever seen of Lawler.
And I'm sure my buddy Adam we'll show it to you one more time, and we'll put that up there, not the article, but the picture of Jerry Lawler from that old theater in Memphis, Tennessee. Folks, that's when he started. You know what he ended up. Just look at that a minute. Would you have known that's Jerry the King Lawler? Your
Now,
thought,
all right. Now, what year was this, Randy?
1969 or 1970?
Okay, so how long would the king? How old would the king have been there?
About 20, I think.
Okay, okay.
Because he'll be set. His birthday's around Thanksgiving, I know. And
This
it's
Saturday.
okay. And he'll be like 76, I think. So that's 56 years ago. Because I'm yeah, that's right. Because I was born in 66 and I'm 59. So 69 would be 56 years ago.
Yeah, he'll
Okay.
be 76 years old on November the 29th. So your comments about that story?
Well, I mean, I knew the story obviously, but I've never seen that photo. All the stuff I've seen and researched on the king, I've never ever seen that photo ever. So that's pretty cool to see that. I've heard
Adam says it's from 1970.
Okay.
Great stuff.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. That's. But I mean, they all got to start somewhere. All these people started somewhere that became famous. So it's amazing to see. Obviously, nobody there that night knew he was going to be there. The crazy thing to me, RH, hearing that Aubrey ran them on Saturday night, was the West Memphis racetrack. The race car track is really big, still going after 60 years. They raced on Saturday night, and that's you're kind of drawing from the same crowd. So for them to run wrestling at the same time they're running the races is kind of unique. Because I've shared with you, Jonesboro, we raced stock cars on Friday and did wrestling on Saturday. Because of you're drawing from the same crowd, blue collar primarily.
Next picture on Talking Memphis Wrestling. We'll go in order from this point on. Adam Dunn, as we take a look at a very interesting picture. Folks, let me tell you, I found this on Facebook. These phone numbers don't work. First of all, a lot of the people on this list are dead. That's the main reason, but this is a very interesting thing from the National Wrestling Association. Here's the phone number of All Japan Pro Wrestling in Tokyo, Japan. Capital Wrestling, which is the WWF when it was based in Washington, D.C. Championship Wrestling from Florida, Joey Hamilton, the original Masked Assassin, was the booker there. Jim Crockett Promotions in Charlotte, George Scott was the booker. Eastern Sports in Canada, Rudy Kay was the promoter and the booker. Eastern Sports Enterprises Incorporated, Matt Gilmore, never heard of him in my life. The Foothills Athletic Club, Calgary, Stu Hart, we've all heard of him. Here's one from Albuquerque, Mike London is the promoter. Georgia Championship Wrestling in Atlanta, Assassin Tom Renesto, who booked here. He was the booker there. The next one, Gulas Welch Wrestling Enterprises in Nashville, Tennessee. Jerry Jarrett is the booker. The number on at the time, again, don't call that number because, of course, Gulas Welch out of business, but this was Jerry Jarrett's home phone number at the time that later on became his office number in his house, 615-824-3841, and I got that memorized, and Randy West does too. Gulf Coast Wrestling, Rocky McGuire was the booker. Heart of America, the bookers were Pat O'Connor, former NWA World Champion, Harley Race, both former world champions in that promotion as well. Hollywood Wrestling, Leo Garibaldi. Japanese Pro Wrestling was Jumbo Sato. Leroy McGurk in Oklahoma. The booker was Cowboy Bill Watts. In Mexico, the booker there, and Lord Blair's in Hawaii. How, and we'll lose that graphic. Pat, how interesting is that to you?
Well, it is interesting. I can tell you the Mobile office is booked out of the Panhandle of Florida because 904 is Panhandle, Florida. So he's probably in Pensacola. That isn't that. My gosh, if that thing had got out in 1975, everybody'd had to change their numbers.
Absolutely. But it was a kayfabe business, man. Nothing got out.
Absolutely.
Nothing got out. Your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, it's amazing to see that list and see some of those names like Giant Baba's phone number listed on the sheet. Giant Baba, hey man, what's happening?
Well,
it's hard to think about. You know what I'm saying? Like Jerry Garrett seems more real because of you and your connection to working for him. But when you think about calling Giant Baba, I don't know. That seems off the charts to me.
It's interesting. I was looking at that. I think the only person I recognize as being alive on that's Bill Watts.
And he's in probably his mid-80s, I would imagine.
Yeah, but when I've seen him, he looks fine. And I mean, I don't know everybody on there, but I think that's probably the only one I recognize as being alive.
The purpose of Talking Memphis Wrestling is to entertain and to educate you on Memphis Wrestling, and we get into all kinds of stuff. Next picture here on Talking Memphis Wrestling. This is a young dude. Pat? Did we lose Pat?
No, you didn't lose me. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't help you. Sorry.
Okay, Chris Ellis?
Yeah, it's Terry Funk. He looks just like his dad.
Oh!
If you look,
wow.
If you look at his face, he looks just like Dory Sr.
Well, I kind of got a little bit of look at the face, but yeah, that's not the Terry Funk that I grew up with, for sure.
We'll see if I can stump you on this one. Richard, after we already told you who it was, it says it's Terry Funk. But there might be a little delay. He might have got it quick. Give him a little credit. Next picture on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Pat, you can cheat because you have notes printed out, and Chris.
Well, I don't like to cheat, but that's not Luthez, is it?
Nope.
I see who it is now, and I'm shocked. I would have guessed that.
Chris?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the notes. I'm not sure. I can't tell who it is.
When he was the NWA, which I never knew he was, the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion, and Richard goes ahead and says who it is, Pat.
Yeah, young Vern. I guess I'm not used to seeing Vern with hair.
Yeah, true. Pretty cool picture.
Nothing wrong with that, you understand?
Nothing wrong with it.
You're late, huh?
I got plenty. And let's do a little thing. We'll come back to the next picture in just a second. Pat, I want you to take your headsets off just real quick and take off your hat. Take off your hat. Okay, put it back on quickly. Okay, you see Chris. Now, I am the oldest person on the screen right now. Who has more hair?
You do.
There you go.
And you worked in the wrestling business, and you got more hair. That's what's amazing.
But I've lost about 5 hair matches in my life.
Maybe it made it grow back thicker. Maybe
it always drew money. That picture of Vern was cool.
It really was.
And the world champion always dressed. See how he was dressed?
Yeah.
I mean, they were always dressed to the nines, man. I mean, look at him. There's no telling what that suit costs. Cufflinks. You got cufflinks on. There's no telling what that suit cost back. When was that? The 50s, maybe?
I would imagine in the 50s. Somebody went back, Lucian was talking about the interview from Bobby Eaton. He was 19 years old on that video that we showed earlier. And Darren Melton, my buddy from Jonesboro, says hello, and we appreciate everybody watching. Again, Lucian says Bobby Eaton was 19 years old during that time period. And some of folks, I'll just warn you, some of the comments, I think we're getting everybody's comments, but some of them's coming in a little late. We showed a drawing last week, and we'll show another Jerry Lawler drawing right now. And this is, I think, Jackie Fargo and Jerry Lawler whooping up on Gentleman Saul Weingroff and his team, The Spoiler, artwork by Jerry Lawler. How cool is that picture, Mr. Trammell?
1976, I believe that is. If you look at the bottom right corner there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, his artwork's always amazing. It's pretty cool to look at. You can tell that Saul Weingroff. I wouldn't have guessed who the mask guys were, but it's the details of Saul Weingroff's face and head.
Yeah.
Next picture is 4914. 4914. Who are these two dudes, Pat?
That would be Dennis Condrey, it looks like.
Nope.
Is that no? Okay. It looked like Dennis, though, didn't it?
Nope, not for me.
Well,
I know who it is.
It did. Well, I know that's the babyface call-in on the right there for Atlanta, the Georgia championship territory. That's Bobo Brazil.
That's true.
Okay. And I'm gonna let Chris get on the other one. Excuse me, just a second. I gotta take care of something.
All right, Chris, who is this?
That's Bugsy McGraw. I started to do my head, slap my face like this, like Bugsy did when he was a baby face. But that's Bugsy McGraw.
Absolutely, you got that right. BC Collins hadn't been on in a long time from North Carolina. Loves the show as he always does, and we appreciate everybody watching Talking Memphis Wrestling. A few more pictures before we get into the next part of the show, which will be the video part of the show. We go with 4918. 4918. Pat, do you have any idea who this is?
There's Lynn Rossi on the mic, so I assume that is in Birmingham or Nashville. I think that's Nashville. Looks like an older managing Al Green there on the right.
You got it.
And I don't. Ken Dillinger in the middle.
Yep.
And I don't know who he's with.
Cowboy Parker. Cowboy Parker is the picture there. Next picture, Chris, is a cool picture, a miscellaneous picture with a bunch of stuff. Not all I can identify. Some of them I can. He's often imitated. He's never freaking duplicated. The fabulous Jackie Fargo, Pat.
That is some great pictures, and I love the one up there on the top. And I don't know who the young lady is in the middle, but you got Dundee and Lawler and somebody in the middle doing the Fargo strut. That's great stuff right there.
So
I believe that may be the grown daughter of Jackie Fargo, Charlotte.
Okay.
So upper left, that is Tim Storm with Jackie Fargo and Tim. I got a crazy story, Randy. I need to tell y'all before we go today. But Tim Storm.
We might as well tell the story now while we have him up on the screen.
Okay, so Tim Storm wrestled at TCW for Matt Duffield, Matt Riviera, and he was a football coach in Texas, and a history teacher and a football coach. He wrestled on the weekends, and he ended up being NWA world champion after it evolved. But where I was going with that was I bought me 2 sport coats at this men's store in Conway, and the tailor walks out and says, "Chris, look at this," and he made this incredible looking white suit, and I said, "That looks like something you would made for a wrestler." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "You ever heard of Matt Duffield?" I said, "Yeah, Matt Riviera." And he's got Matt's suit down there. I just saw it this week. And then when I saw Tim Storm, I thought, that's crazy. I had thought about TCW in several years. But Bobby Eaton worked with TCW towards the end of his life, too.
Very interesting picture as we go with the next picture. And this is the fabulous Jackie Fargo. And guys, any guesses who the tag team partner of Fargo is there? Start with Pat.
No, I don't.
Chris?
No, sir, I cannot. I don't even know who he might resemble. It's not in my memory.
I mean, he's got on a Spanish sort of shirt.
It is before my time, Chris's time, and Pat's time. It's Mario Milano. You heard that name?
Yeah. I've heard it, but I don't know that much about him.
All right. Segment number 2, which was the picture segment of this show, is over. We will then go with segment 4, which is a short segment with a lengthy 8 minutes and 20 seconds video. Our mics will be live, and Pat, you're going to be the expert in this because you watch more of Gulas Welch, I believe, than either one of me and Chris. Some of them, they interlope type of thing, and certainly we will know some of them. This video is the stars of Gulas Welch. It's 8 minutes and 20 seconds on Talking Memphis Wrestling on Thanksgiving week. That's Randy Savage, Glenn Rossi, and Bearcat Brown.
There you go.
That Dennis Hall?
I believe it is.
The Bounty Hunters?
Bounty Hunters. Oh, Sheik.
Tommy Gilbert.
Dojo.
Which TV station is this?
That's Birmingham. That's Samoan. Russian scalper. Who is the Russian scalper there, Randy?
I have no idea. Flyboy Frazier, Chris.
Flyboy.
The
Lumberjack. Yeah.
Okay.
But
no idea.
I'd say that was the interns. They didn't generally dress like that, and I don't know who this is.
Mongolian Stomper and Bearcat Wright.
Yeah.
75.
Dojo with the shoe. Dojo and young Jerry Jarrett. Gentleman Saul, Tojo, and I don't know the other one.
Tojo and Gypsy Joe. I don't know.
That is a baby face Tommy Rich right there.
Absolutely. Gentleman Saul Doing some damage, Chris.
Sure. King, Jim White.
Early 70s. Nick Gulas and Roy Welch. Jimmy Kent, Jim White, Jerry Lawler.
Coach, out there, Don Fargo.
Saul.
A lot of Saul on this Talking Memphis Wrestling tonight.
Connor.
That
Al.
place, that look like Al. That's Saul again. Once he became a step deputy. Or Lawler artwork.
Oh, Dixon and Condry.
Absolutely. I think those are forwards again.
Dominoes.
J.C.
J.C.
Dykes.
Dykes.
That's Dutch.
Tom Ernesto.
And Tom Ernesto. The Freebirds.
Freebird. The early Freebirds.
Blue Inferno.
Don Carson and the Red Shadow.
Oh, Don Carson, yeah.
Lawler and Tojo. Then the Bounty Hunter.
Never knew them.
I didn't realize Don Fargo met Don Garfield.
Now look at Lynn Rossi's physique there in the early
Amazing.
days.
J.C. Dykes and the Dominoes again. A lot of straw wine drop on Talking Memphis Wrestling today. It exploded. All later on, they had and that's Pat Malone, Andre the Giant, and Christine Jarrett. Randy Poffo.
Angelo. Yeah.
And Angelo. Jerry Barber from Dyersburg, Tennessee. That's Mario Milano and Jackie Fargo.
Buddy Wayne.
Blonde head. The Big Cat. Bearcat Brown.
Bearcat Brown. I don't know that.
That
George,
is-
Tojo, Jerry, and Jackie. Which one of these is not like the other?
Daddy Stinsdale.
Who is that?
Very- I don't have any idea. Very interesting. I believe that's Eddie Marlin and George Gulas. Is that Don Anderson?
I believe it was.
This is Jackie Fargo and Roughhouse at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis. Just classic stuff as we're going to an era that I'm not real familiar with.
As the Kangaroos.
And Sir Clement.
Yep.
Again, we're educating you on the Gulas Welch end of the territory. Cowboy Frankie Lane, Chris.
Yeah, Frankie Lane.
The Jet Set. Yes, sir. Robert and Ron Fuller, that was late 60s probably.
Tommy Gilbert and somebody.
Dennis Hall, I think. I love looking back, and even though they're in the same state, just a lot of different things. And I think this
Matt
is
Barrett and Norvell.
with Christine Jarrett. That looks like Ron Simmons, but I don't think it is.
That's
And
not Ron. There's Ken Ramey and the intern.
Kurt Von Hatch and Oliver Von Heller with Sam. This
Yes.
is Ken Ramey and the intern.
Yep. I don't know who that is. Tommy Gilbert and Eddie Marlin.
I've sold a lot of those. Richard
Yeah.
says Frankie Hester was one of those pictures.
There you go, Bearcat and Lynn Rossi.
Tojo, Joe Lewis, and Nick Gulas. Tojo, Eddie Marlin, and Jackie Fargo. Nick Gulas and Roy Welch.
Who was that in the back, Randy?
I had glanced away and it went off there, so I really don't know. Can't help you with that at all. As the last few seconds, the interns and Dr. Ken Ramey, and they drew a ton of freaking money. There is no doubt about it. And Chris, go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to ask was, Randy, a lot of those photos are tag teams. Was it primarily a tag team territory, or was it the era, of the decade, or what, that so many tag teams?
All the Tennessee territory was a tag team territory up until one wrestler, and that's Jerry Lawler.
Chris, I can tell you, I would say that in my growing up days, watching on Channel 42 on Saturday night and going to the matches on Monday night, I would say, truthfully, 2/3 at least of the matches were tag matches. I mean, I think generally you would have the opening match would be, underneath guys, and that might be a singles match. And then it was pretty much on TV, and the main events were tag matches. And I don't know, I never got the sense. And now, bear in mind, I was not watching Memphis or Georgia wrestling at this point in time. But in the late '60s, early '70s, it was still Nazis and Japanese heels. There was a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that interesting to you, Chris, looking at the Gulas part of the territory?
Oh, yeah, very interesting, because you and I didn't get to watch that till about the mid-'70s, and that's why I was asking because the Memphis territory wasn't really that way. Randy, what would be the booking philosophy on that? Is it financial? I mean, what's the mindset of that, being the boss like you've been before, booking so many tag teams?
That was just the era. I mean, it's the preference of the booker. The Carolinas was a tag team territory until George Scott came in and changed it, and with Johnny Valentine and then Ric Flair, and then the rest is history for there. It's just a lot of people had that philosophy. It's just a different philosophy.
I'll tell you too, and Randy, you can speak to the Memphis end of the Gulas Welch territory. Awful lot of masked heel teams.
Yeah, for sure.
That was just interesting, because obviously some of those people came through Memphis, and we got to watch it till the mid-'70s, but still it was cool to see a lot of the different things. And the heel manager, the manager period is a thing of the past. Much less the heel manager, the manager period is gone.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, we will go ahead and to make this a pretty quick situation here. We'll start with the cards, Adam, and we'll go with 49-13. 49-13. I didn't type out the cards. This is in Huntsville, Alabama. This is in 1971. Pat, going from the bottom to the top, can you read that card?
I can. Oni Wiki Wiki versus Young Atlas. Now, what year is this?
This was 1971. So by that point, I don't think it would be Tony Atlas.
No, I would. It was not Tony Atlas at that age. And then we've got now this is a now I don't know. I only know one of the heels here, but this a wild return grudge 6-man tag battle, no time limit, no disqualification. That was the that was the heat of the tag team matches. No time limit, no disqualification in that territory. Bobby Hart, Lorenzo Parente, and Bill Crockett versus Lynn Rossi, Bearcat Brown, and a babyface Tojo. And then a grudge chain match, 3 feet apart, Eddie Marlin versus Saul Weintraub.
All right, very interesting card.
And interestingly enough, you have Ani Wiki Wiki is the picture, and he's the opening match.
Yeah, you never know. I want to look at Bo's comment. Says we look at Bo's last comment. He says so many towns were running, they had to have different crew in each town. Multiple towns were running every night of the week. So they would book tag team main events and get preliminary singles out of it to pull a card every time. It saved money. And with Nick Gulas, they needed to save money. The next clip we'll look at is $48.99, and here's Chris Ellis when we pop $48.99 up there, and apparently that is yeah, that is the one I'm looking for. This is Huntsville, Alabama. Chris, can you read that card?
Yes, sir. Buddy Diamond was opening match. Buddy Diamond versus Mr. Suzuki. Bearcat Brown versus Golden Hawk. Revenge match. Tojo Yamamoto versus referee Bobby D. Tag team battle demanded by Kovac and Joey Rossi. The Bounty Hunters with manager Jimmy Kent versus Joey Rossi and Steve Kovac. NWA 6-man World Tag Team Championships. Phil Hickerson, Dennis Condrey, and Al Green, the champions, versus George Gulas, Jackie Fargo, and Tommy Gilbert. The main event match of 1975.
So obviously this is a 75 card and not a 74 card, but go ahead, Chris.
Okay. NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship match, Jerry Lawler, the champion, versus the Sheik, who's the challenger. And then Super Bowl of Wrestling, extra special added attraction, 18-man triple chance battle royal, $1,500 to the winning team, 2 rings used.
Very interesting card, Pat.
Yeah, and I can tell you, and this is a little bit interesting. You know, Joey Rossi was a lot better than George Gulas. Okay, but I think he was at a car accident or something. But Joey ended up passing away before Lynn. But he was a city councilman in Franklin, Tennessee for a long time and did a lot of good for the city. But if Joey was over anywhere for whatever reason, it was in Huntsville, Alabama.
Looking at the great cards, the classic cards, and most of these were in November, and we'll take a look at the very next card we have. This is in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the auditorium. Jerry Jarrett was the opening match with Mr. Suzuki. It was Bob Armstrong against the Golden Hawk. The tag team of Ron and Don Wright. Bo James, Ron and Don Wright against Tojo Yamamoto and Ron Wright. And this was a big feud with Jackie Fargo and Hickerson and Condrey. This time, Fargo brings in Andre the Giant. And Nicholas Roy Welch and Harry Thornton are the promoters. Your thoughts on this card, Pat?
Well, the Memorial Auditorium is right downtown Chattanooga, and that's a I suppose Ron and Don Wright probably worked that territory from Chattanooga to the Tri-Cities up and down a little bit, and were probably pretty well known in Chattanooga. And I don't know enough, and I wish I knew more about Chattanooga wrestling.
Next deal, and this is very interesting, folks. And if we could go ahead and and go with 49. No, that's not what I thought it was. This is Louisville 1976. Look at that card, real interesting. Dutch Mantell and Ricky Gibson's in the opening match. We have Little Bear and Thundercloud against David Schultz and Bill Ash. Tojo and Dundee against John Frazier and Tommy Gilbert in 1976. Gorgeous George Jr. against Tommy Rich, and probably early Louisville match between Jerry Lawler and Rocky the Soulman Johnson. Look at the ticket prices. The highest ticket price was $4 in Louisville, Kentucky there, and this is a 1976 card. And let's go with the next card.
Let me ask you something, Randy.
Okay.
It's curious to me that Nick is listed as the promoter, and I don't know that this was ever really told to me necessarily specifically, but my understanding was, and yeah, I think I talked with Jerry about this. My understanding was Louisville was dead, and they hadn't run it for a long time, but Jerry's going to put himself over, okay?
No, what you're about to say is true, but go ahead.
But he started running it, and it's interesting that Nick has himself on the thing as promoter this late in the game.
You know, that's a year before the split, because Jerry Jarrett, maybe not on this card, Jerry Jarrett was still a top babyface. They kayfabed the fact that Jerry Jarrett was the promoter.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very good. That's right. Okay.
Something I'd like to point out about this card: the opening match was Ricky Gibson and Dutch Mantell.
I tell you what,
opening match.
That's probably the match I'd pay the most to see.
I mean, that's a hell of an opening match.
Yeah, it is.
Ricky Gibson in the opening match. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That had to be a hell of a match, and you want your opening match to set the night up the right way, and I can bet your life on it, Chris, that the matches were set up the right way in that match. As we go with the next card in line, Adam, this is very interesting, because this was from November the 21st, 1979. They went from the women's building at the fairgrounds for the wrestling to the all-new sports arena, the building that I went to so many times, and it said the first 1,200 fans will receive a picture of wrestling trading cards, which include 22 of your favorite wrestling, just a heck of a gimmick. The main event was Jerry Lawler and superstar Billy Graham. Also, we had Tojo and Bobby against George Goose and Ken Lucas, the midget match. Dutch Mantell and Jim Dalton against Dutch Mantell and Tommy Gilbert. Ed Marotti against Bruce Reed and
the outstanding Black Mat Star.
I was just going to not say that, but politically correct, people. Bruce Cook against Tom Vito. As we look at the next slide, Adam, and this is just an article, and what's interesting, I don't think 4,700 fans could have fit in that building.
4,100.
4,100. I was thinking maybe 3,500. I think that was interesting as well. Certainly, and then in 1980, when Nick retired, Jerry Jarrett took it over, and Nashville did big business. But I thought that was interesting, Pat, because you've been in that building, correct?
Yeah, I've been in that building. That would have been pretty crowded right there. But you know it's a Nick card, because even into the late 70s, he's wrestling the little guys.
Right. See, you're with it. That's interesting, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it is interesting that they were on the card. And then the purpose, like, I didn't realize, because I never went to Nashville, but I didn't realize the Nashville Sports Arena was that small. I guess in my head I'm thinking Memphis
or Louisville
and Louisville. And then when it went to Rupp, I knew it seated 20-something thousand, but like they closed off part of it or something.
Yeah.
But just in my head, I'm thinking in Nashville, being a big city like it was, they would wrestle in a bigger building like they did in Memphis. But that wasn't the case.
That was and is a great building for wrestling.
And every once in a while, for big shows, that we went to the downtown Memorial Auditorium, right there in the thick of things. And so on big shows, that's what they did. And I want to keep going, and we're just going to mention main events here and go through this because I have two fairly lengthy videos. This is 1979. This is interesting because the main event is Nick Bockwinkel defending his AWA World Title match against the fabulous Jackie Fargo in 1979. Next graphic. This is Rupp Arena in what Chris talked about. This was on a Sunday afternoon. I'm going to do two in a row. This is a combined show with Crockett and Jarrett. This is Sunday afternoon, November the 17th. The main event was the Rock and Roll Express against the Koloffs. The semifinal was Ole Anderson and Tully Blanchard with Baby Doll against Dusty, the King, and Magnum TA. Also the Fabs against the Midnight Express and Dundee against Valiant. Just you can see the card there, and then
Randy, do you have any idea how that drew?
No, I really don't have any idea. We'll go with the next slide just because it kind of goes along with this. This was the very next night, and this did about 4,000 people with booked a NWA World Title match, Bill Dundee against Ric Flair. They did a angle where Coco Ware beat Dundee on TV, so the match was Ric Flair and Coco Ware. The Bunkhouse match, the Koloffs and the Rock and Roll, the Fabs and the Midnight Express, Jimmy Valiant against Tony Falk, Fantastics on the card. So Pat, that's the two nights. Now, in September, they did a Crockett Super Show in Memphis that sold out and did $100,000. They came back for this show in '85, and it did not do as well. Your thoughts on that?
Crockett, Crockett can thank Ted Turner for coming up with what the first superstation and figuring that out. And it was anybody in the world could have done it. You could have done it in Memphis. You could have done it anywhere. But that's ultimately that's what Crockett bought into. And everybody in the country's watching it, but that doesn't mean everybody in Memphis is going to go see it, particularly when you're polluting the Memphis brand, right?
That's for sure. Interesting, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't realize they did that back to back. Like I was just thinking, first of all, ringside was $15, which in today's money would be about probably $50.
Right.
So that was a lot of money for people back then. And two, the Koloffs wouldn't have drawn a dime in Memphis.
No.
Zero. I don't care if they're on the superstation or not. Now, Ricky and Robert in the Midnight would have drawn because they had been here.
Right.
Ivan and Nikita, for as great as they were, they wouldn't have drawn anybody to come see them, no matter who they were working with.
Two more cards, and we have a couple of Thanksgiving cards coming up. This is Thanksgiving week. This one is from Jackson, Tennessee, November 22nd of the year 1979. And interesting about this card, Pat, is the Southern Heavyweight Championship match was Jerry Lawler against Jackie Fargo in '79 in a triple chance battle royals. Thanksgiving Spectacular in Jackson, Pat.
Mm-hmm. And what would the Coliseum in Jackson hold?
I'd say, Chris, what would you say, 45?
Yeah, I was going to say 5,000. When you and that's where they used to play the NAIA National Champion Basketball Tournament.
Uh huh.
I think it holds about 5,000. Me and Randy were just there a couple of years ago. I think it hold that easy.
Last card of the show, and then we're gonna get more in.
Hey, Randy, I got a quick question.
Okay.
Jerry Bryant was friends with the King, I know.
Yes.
Was he like King Cobra? He worked a real job, then wrestled when he could, or was he trying to wrestle full time when he got ALS?
No, he always worked in the body shop of car dealerships, and that's what he did. He was a super nice guy. Just when he had that disease, I remember me and Bill Dundee went to see him at the hospital a few days before he died at the Memphis hospital. It's just a real sad thing. One more card, if we can go ahead and show that up there. And this is kind of hard to see. This is a Atlanta card the same day in uh, November 22nd, 79. The main event was Ernie Ladd and Mystery Man against Thunderbolt Patterson and Ole Anderson. Bobby Heenan against Tommy Rich. Mr. Wrestling 2. It says Mr. Wrestling 2 versus Mr. Wrestling 2, so I think they were doing an angle there. Then a one-night tag team tournament with the Briscoes, Jaggers and Lee Graham, Harold Masuda and a partner, Ricky Fields and Buzz Sawyer, Wahoo and Stan Hansen, Austin Idol and the Superstar, Tony Atlas and Ray Candy, Ox Baker and Killer Khan, Dusty Rhodes and Wrestling 2. Just the winners of that tournament was the Superstar and Austin Idol. So I think I would have rather saw Lawler and Fargo. How about you, Chris?
Well, no question about that at all. I mean, obviously coming from the Memphis territory, we'd obviously want to see that. Plus, it'd be a better show than all that you just listed. Killer Carl Cox being on there made me think. I've connected with his son on Twitter and had some conversation about him and Murdoch and so forth in the past couple of weeks. So that was interesting to learn some stuff there.
I'm trying to look at some of these comments. Chad says, Randy, you make good money off of wrestling at times. If you're asking me personally, at times I made real good money, especially when I was a promoter, but you have the risk of losing real good money at that time. Just real good stuff. Absolutely real good stuff there. We're going to take a break, and we come back. The final segment of today's show, 2 videos and final comment coming up once we take a little break and remind you what you're watching.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
All right, we've talked a lot of wrestling. We've looked at great cards, a lot of pictures. It's great to have Pat Trammell back with us today, and back with us again, Chris Ellis, as we will have hopefully Michael St. John returning to the show next week. Miss everybody, but I made the executive decision that on panel we can just get to the material with the regional type of thing when we have 2 guys plus me, and that's what I'm trying to go through. Might hurt somebody's feelings, but it is what it is. We'll go right now to the year of 19 1977, a TV match that Pat retweeted a couple of weeks ago, and this is in the early days of TV5 wrestling, which started in March of 1977. It's a 10-minute long video with Jerry Lawler and Paul Orndorff talking Memphis wrestling.
Welcome back. Opening the vault on Class's classic. Classy,
easy for you to say.
Classy and classic Memphis wrestling.
There you go. You know, one of the great things about the classic Memphis wrestling days is the fact that a lot of great talent made their first appearances in the wrestling world here in Memphis.
That's right.
I remember guys like Ricky Gibson. You know, nobody had ever even heard of this young guy, and he comes in here and makes a big name for himself. Another guy that we're going to be seeing here in a minute, Paul Orndorff.
Started right here.
He became, of course, Mr. Perfect, Paul Orndorff. Big, huge mega star, but he had his first matches right here in Memphis, and he was very impressive even in those days.
He was. I remember when he had a very athletic look, and looked like he could come in and pretty well clean out the dressing room.
Like Jimmy, athletic feet. What?
Let me just tell you something. When Mr. Wonderful finds out that you called him Mr. Perfect instead of Mr. Wonderful, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, you're right. Mr. Perfect was Kurt Hennig. I'm sorry. It was Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, that's right.
Golly. Even the king makes a mistake.
Jimmy hard to tell him. That's how he'll
You
find
know I
out.
will.
Oh, yeah, right. He's
I
way
bet
down.
you're going to call him.
Yeah, he's weighing wherever. And
I'm going to talk to him later on today.
Well, first, before we call him, why don't we take a little look at him in action?
Great.
This was a match between myself and Mr. Wonderful before he was so wonderful, and this footage will prove that.
It'll be imperfect, too.
Yeah. It's okay with everybody, right?
I checked. The promoter said if Paul Orndorff is the one to decide that he just finished a 6-minute, 10-second match, and Paul says it's okay.
I remember this.
Okay. Then
this was right after they switched to
Get
five.
the camera on me, idiot.
Lance hadn't been over on
Let me show all you
TV5 long.
rednecks out there what wrestling is all about. I'm going to show you how long it takes to beat somebody when somebody's really trying to beat them. So you just keep your eyes glued on this.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes glued on it. So a kind of a special match. You can scratch Jimmy Gibbons in there, and bell time. Here we go.
Adam, there is TV5 Studios in the early days of
And you
wrestling.
can see that Orndorff, he's the kind of guy, he likes to wrestle clean. He likes to wrestle as a scientific wrestler. The only thing that I question about Paul,
I think
he
Orndorff
is
played
young,
football
Lawler
at
with a lot of
University of Tampa.
experience.
He
Paul is
did.
very
He
small.
He did.
He just finished a match. Lawler takes him out and over the shoulder and down. There's that big knee drop right across the what appeared to be the throat to me. Count of one. And Orndorff kicks his way out. Lawler thought he had himself a less than a 1-minute win over Paul Orndorff. And Paul's saying something to referee Paul Morton. Orndorff circling him. He wasn't the least bit afraid to climb right in there with Lawler. I'm not certain of the wisdom of doing it. But Lawler back on the ropes. The referee calls for a clean break, and he gets one. Don't tell me you're complaining about that little tap as he pushed himself away, Lawler. Standing side headlock. He takes Orndorff over, but into a conversion to a head scissors for Orndorff. Mr. Lawler not doing too well as a teacher. He was going to teach Orndorff a lesson as to what would
That's
happen
something
when
that
somebody
Orndorff did that not a
wants
lot of
to beat
wrestlers
him in
did,
there,
but he did it throughout his career.
instead of
The head
trying to
scissors where he
put on a
goes
show and
into a
impress the
push-up
girls,
position.
as
Yeah.
Lawler put it. Orndorff
He did that.
showing him
Not very many people did that. That
while he
was unique to him.
prefers scientific wrestling. He can dish it out just the way that Lawler needs it. Jerry Lawler, though, has tremendous stamina. We've said that 1,000 times, but it's true. He has great durability. And Orndorff, did you see him pick him up right straight up off the floor, Clay? Lawler moaning about his tights. You could see it right there at home. A beautiful move and a display of strength that this Orndorff
King's like
has.
28 in this video.
Look at Lawler.
Orndorff's early
On his
20s,
back.
I guess.
Oh, yeah. Paul rolls him
You know,
down
there
to
were
the
2 or
canvas,
3
but the
other
brain
guys
catches
came
him.
out of the University of Tampa football
And it
program.
calls for a break, and break
I don't
he
even
does.
know if they have football anymore.
Lawler consulting with his ringside
John
attendant,
Matuzak played for
Ricky
the
Poole.
Raiders. He played there. And then I think
Probably
Dick
saying,
Slater
"Get the
might have
car
played there.
warmed
I
up. This
think
guy's
that's
tougher
right.
than I
And I
thought."
guess
Paul Orndorff
The guy that
getting
actually
in
coached
notice
at my high
across.
school my
Orndorff
junior
stays
year,
low, ready to move.
coached them.
Waller now
University
starts
of
on
Tampa.
him with that
Was a
elbow and
friend
upper
of
arm.
Coach Blaisdell at A&M.
Hammers Orndorff
I
down
got
to the deck.
Jonesboro, a guy named David Avery, was assistant coach University of Tampa. That's when I knew some of that.
Paul Orndorff coming back hard. If Paul can just stay away from a mistake that many young wrestlers make, and that is thinking that he's got Lawler and leaving himself wide open, and on the break, Lawler tapped him, and Orndorff right back, out of way.
Pat, how about the referee?
Yeah.
Orndorff has been breaking clean. Lawler
Father
couldn't
of
see
Ricky Morton.
way clear to doing that. And he pounds Lawler right back.
When did
after
they
Lawler
decide
hit
to
him on
use
the ropes.
Paul Morton and
Paul
not?
Orndorff
All
on the
right.
left, Jerry Lawler
It was
on the
Calhoun,
right. Paul Morton,
but
the
sometimes
referee.
it was Paul Morton.
Lawler a little cautious. He has a perplexed look on his face.
Most
too.
of the time on TV it was
I think he
Calhoun,
thought
but if
because
Calhoun
of, the
had
inexperience of
other
Orndorff that it
obligations,
was
they'd
gonna be
bring
a-
the two, during
man.
this
Now,
period
there's
of
the typical
77,
Lawler,
the
isn't
two full-time
Lawler
the only
slammed him
full-time
into that
referee for
turnbuckle.
Jarrett was Paul Morton. Calhoun would do
Nails
Friday
him
and
hard with the
Tupelo
right
or
hand.
Bravo,
The referee warning him about
TV
the
Saturday morning, and Memphis on Monday night, and
man.
Jackson once a month.
Man, almost put him out.
Jackson was on
He
Sunday,
wheeled him
right?
into the rope.
Yeah.
Did Paul
And
Morton
he
live in
caught,
Nashville?
caught Orndorff
Yes.
coming off with that foot. Paul in deep trouble now, deep trouble. Lawler goes to the rope, typical Lawler fashion. Orndorff manages to get out of the
All right,
way.
so the guys
Rolls him
work
up,
on
one,
the
two,
crew.
three, he got it.
Did they,
How
I'll
about
ask you in a
that?
minute.
Jerry Lawler, count of three, no sir Lawler, a count of three.
How many times have you seen that, do you think?
Furious in there. As Paul Orndorff was, come on, Lawler.
I'm sorry, I was off the video. What were you talking about, Pat?
I mean, how many times has Lawler been counted out 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring on
Paul, get him
TV?
separated in there.
Not very many. I remember this part right here.
Well, he did it with Rick Gibson, he did it with Don Anderson, he did it with several people on Paul Orndorff, and it was to make the baby face, but he would always get his heat back.
Can we get somebody out here? Yeah. Here comes Ron Fuller out here. Get rid of this guy.
Wow.
Well, that's quite a finish there.
I
huh?
think that he wasn't looking quite so wonderful when he's being carried out on the stretcher.
I
was he?
agree.
You know what, King? You're the one that started those neck injuries back here in Memphis, Tennessee. And by the way, guess who's on the phone right now? Hey, Mr. Wonderful, can you hear us?
Hey, Jimmy Hart, how you doing? Well, I tell you what, I've been hearing and seeing and people calling me. You're doing a great job up there in Memphis, especially at Memphis Classic Wrestling. Jimmy, if you could tell Corey Macklin and Dave Brown and my old good buddy Jerry Lawler, I said hello. You know, it wasn't that long ago, I guess, 22 years ago, that my first territory, my first match that I ever had was in Memphis, Tennessee. And, you know, the things you don't forget is your first and your last place. And that was my first, and had a lot of fans there and everything. And I'll never forget that, you know, that I was just starting in this, and the fans were kind of taken to me. And I'll never forget old Eddie Marlin one time said, called me into the room and said, Paul, if you don't start putting some fire and vinegar in this thing out here, you know, we're going to have to let you go. Well, it was the next night, and I thought it was like a lightning rod that hit me, and boom, there I was. I was going nuts, and I had so much of being aggressive and vicious and everything that the people loved me, and Jerry Lawler didn't like it, right? Well, that was when I first got my first injury. And I had Jerry Lawler, I'd had a match, and Jerry Lawler had challenged me the same show to have a match with him. Well, Paul, I did it, and, you know, I went out there, and Lord and behold, I beat him in 2 minutes. And the people just went crazy. I turned my back. I ended up in a hospital for 2 days. Well, Lawler, I want to say something. You know, I hadn't been able to get back at you for what you did, but if I ever get a chance, Jimmy Hart, you could help me on this. set it up with me and Lalo. I would like to come back home again. It's something special to me. Well, listen, I got to go, buddy. All you fans out there, write letters and call in and everything about Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and I'll be there. Talk to you later, Jimmy. Bye.
Comments on that match, Pat?
Just for somebody that hadn't been in the business that long, it was just a great match on both sides.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, he's a really great athlete, and he'd been around it or been trained or something, because he took to it really quickly at a young age and not much experience.
We're going to watch right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling, our last video of the show. It's Bloody Greatness at the Louisville Gardens. This is 11 minutes, 15 seconds. This is a program and a multi-layered finish that Jerry Jarrett was the conductor 100% on this. It started with the basic tag match that led to months worth of business and single matches, tag matches, 6-man tag, 8-man tag, 10-man tags, all kind of stuff. This is good stuff. 11 minutes, 15 seconds, our last video today of the day on Talking Memphis Wrestling on Thanksgiving week.
Okay, no more to be said. Louisville Gardens, Louisville, Kentucky. Let's just take a look at the action as it happened, Dave.
That's a young Dave Brown.
This is probably 1981, 1982.
Here comes the dream.
I would imagine Randy West, if he's still on here, he can tell me. I think he's the commentator.
Nelson on Dundee, while Ferris hammers him from that second rope.
Kevin Sullivan and Wayne Ferris against Dundee and Green Machine. Green Machine was a babyface in this match. In Louisville, you can hear the excitement of the people. This is just a straight tag match. Later on, I want you to look at the timing of the aftermath, which is the most important. This is just the backdrop, Pat and Chris, for the match. The match is the backdrop. Then business picks up.
Arch saying, pound him, pound him.
So there's a good crowd in Louisville. How many, Randy?
Sullivan takes over.
It seats about 7,000. I would say maybe 6. Kevin Sullivan, obviously with that bodybuilder look.
He never gives up.
I always thought he was an unusual fit in Memphis.
Who's that?
Kevin Sullivan.
And Ferris misses the big
He's a great talent, though.
Oh, yeah, he was a great talent. I'm not disputing that. I just thought he was an unusual fit
Superstar
for
trying to
Memphis.
get to the corner to tag the Dream. He is almost out on his feet.
To answer Richard Hood's question, yes, the Dream Machine had left the first family and he was a babyface. And he was a good babyface. He and Dundee was a good team.
Bill bleeding profusely from the pounding, and Ferris just continues to administer it. Slams his head right into Sullivan's knee. Bill with a flying press. Can he hold it? 1, 2.
I always thought that was one of Dundee's gifts. He can work either side equally well.
But I was concerned.
I know King was great, but the people made King babyface. I thought King was a better heel, but people wouldn't let him be. But I thought Dundee did good working either side.
Dang, and Ferris leaned way in. Dundee kicks him into midsection. Billy trying to fight both Sullivan and Ferris. Got caught from behind. There he stumbles him off. And both
I know Lance and King were close, RH. Were him and Dundee close too?
Pretty much, but I don't like him and Lawler.
He just always put Billy over a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought he liked him a lot.
Bill got out of the way. Hard in hysterics over on the
Business is about to pick up here.
pin Dundee. That's easier said than done.
Dundee's punches are great there. Wayne Ferris was great as well, and now here comes
And Billy going to the corner, but the Dream
the comeback, a four-way.
is fighting around, but unfortunately, that took him out of the tag position.
Richard, you're absolutely right. Way underrated.
Looks like a chain. Dundee goes for it. He's got it. Sullivan pounding away on the Dream. He's got his mask on. And Billy gloms Ferris. And the Dream coming back.
I love Lance Russell. Who else can use the word gloms? He knew what it meant. That's a Lanceism, though, man.
Dream going after Sullivan. Jimmy Hart in the ring. With that walking stick, he fouls. That's going to be a disqualification.
Watch this finish. Let's just listen to Lance.
55 seconds, and the disqualification will be against Sullivan and Ferris. Hart with no business in the ring. Beating now on the Dream machine. Poking him, sticking him. He really nailed Dundee. The Dream down, Sullivan after him, Ferris after Dundee. They've already lost it. Sullivan with the stick beating on the Dream, and Ferris rolls Dundee over. Officially, it's all over with. That didn't have a thing to do with the action. As Sullivan, Ferris, Hart, all really punishing Dundee and the Dream machine. Billy up, but he's nailed from behind, caught in the front with that stick. And Sullivan just shillelaghing with a Hart stick, and now Hart has it working on the Dream. Dream's fast forward. Dundee's face is torn. The referee asked for some help, and here comes Jerry the King. He nails Hart. Hal Ferris and Sullivan.
Crowd was down. Lawler comes out. Crowd going bonkers. This is a very important lesson on timing I'm trying to teach you based on this video.
Both of them jump Lawler.
Nightmares at this point, David Oswald from Jonesboro, Chris, and Danny Davis. So now the crowd is taken down. They came up with Lawler's comeback, and now he's down, and the crowd down again. Just pay careful attention to this.
The Nightmare holding Lawler down. Hart nails Dundee with a stick. What a brawl.
Hart's like a banny rooster here, Pat.
Yeah.
Hart with a handful of powder throws it to Dream's face. Now it's Dundee's eyes. Ferris down on Jerry the King. And they are really working Lawler over in the corner there. Here comes Dutch Mantell. The Dutchman. Free swinging Texan going after him. Lawler is back up. What a mess. Dundee is back up. Look at this scene in the Louisville Garden. They're battling on the floor. Mantell after Sullivan. The Nightmare, the Dream, Jurien. Lawler after Hart. All the way in the back. Pounding away. The Dream beating on the Nightmare.
This bleacher section that you see there always was roped off unless it was a sellout, and the Hill wrestlers would sit and watch the matches from that side and the baby face on the other side.
Sullivan missed Mantell with a sack of sand. They are battling everywhere. Lawler chasing the Nightmare all the way up in the bleachers. And there goes Lawler. The Nightmare caught him, and he's bouncing down the steps. The King back on his feet once again. Head over heels, and here comes Ferris. Up the stairs, but back on the floor. Lawler body slams the Nightmare on the concrete. Sullivan and the Dream. Dundee comes up after Sullivan.
The police taking one out through the fight.
Yep.
Right back at the dressing room door. The Dream not quitting. He's still going after him. And Dundee and Mantell. What a brawl.
I'm exhausted all over again.
Watching it. Man. What a brawl that was, man, is right. Woo! I gotta tell you, that was something else. We thought everybody would get a kick out of seeing that one. It was wild and woolly, and I'm glad I was up where I was at. We got more action, and we're going to be back to it in just a moment.
All right, Chris, your comments on that brilliant piece of business.
That is was it sequential? How you say that? Memphis wrestling.
Quintessential.
Quintessential. Thank you, Pat. That's quintessential Memphis wrestling. That's a masterpiece. If Jerry Jarrett was the choreographer, the soundtrack of Lance, because he says the Dream's mask is torn, Dundee's face is torn. He glums him. It's the perfect voiceover for what we're seeing. It just all fits together. And the fact that them guys could go that long and not be blown up, passed out, can't catch their breath, that's freaking amazing.
Pat, your comments, and had you ever seen that before?
I had not seen that before, and I guess I knew that Kevin Sullivan had a couple cups of coffee in Memphis, but while the match was going on, I was on Wikipedia looking him up, and obviously he passed away a couple of years ago, unfortunately. But, and it didn't mention in there, Kevin Sullivan, I don't exactly know where he got started. I know he spent most of his time in Florida and basically homesteaded there forever, but he was in Birmingham in the late 60s for 6 months. He was the Boston Strong Boy, and he was they sold him as a white meat babyface, and I'm trying to think of who the heel was he had a run with. But he was, looked 18 years old. But yeah, I agree. That's quintessential Memphis wrestling. I mean, I think I've seen a couple of those there and in the Louisville Garden, but that's good stuff right there.
All right, appreciate it very much. We're going to do our last takes right now, and on my last take, Adam, I would like for you to go with me, and it's good timing because Pat was yawning, so go quick to me, full screen, and then I want to do on my last take, and I don't want to bring us down, but I think it's something that I need to acknowledge. The very last image that I have programmed uh, right after that last card we did, if the very last image, if you could go ahead and put that up on the screen, Adam. I don't think you can see it, so I will go ahead and do it. This was taken in August of 2018. I had traveled from Memphis to Cape Cod, Massachusetts in August for my sister, Judy Hales Wise, get it all right. She had moved with her daughter Tracy up there after her husband Bill passed away. So this is in August the 5th. I was there for her 75th birthday. So went up there and spent 3 or 4 days, and we were out on the beach and we had a great time. Um, it was the last time that I saw my sister because she passed away on this very day in 2018. So this show today is dedicated to my sister, Judy Hales. So now to do his first take, we'll bring back in Chris Ellis.
Well, Randy, I sympathize with your loss as we approach this Thanksgiving for the first time. It'd be our family's first without my mother. So I wanted to honor her tonight by mentioning her as it'll be our first Thanksgiving and Christmas without her with us. And of course, we still think about her every day, as I'm sure you do your sister. So I didn't realize you were going to do that today, but don't want to leave on a somber note either. And I'd like to say I'm thankful for you and Pat, Michael, your Adam, your friendship, what it means to get to do this show as a person growing up, loving this and getting to be a small part of this. All the nice people that are on with us every week that we've gotten to know over the years, and it's a blessing, and I'm thankful for every day. And the older I get, the more thankful I am. So I wish everyone out there a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving.
Very good words, and we go with Pat Trammell with his final words.
Well, Chris, you stole my thunder on both sides. Randy, certainly missing your sister and understand that. One of the things I've always, I think, appreciated about you is that how close you are to your family. And, I think I said this early on, just, I don't dive into holidays as much as some other members of my family do necessarily, but I am really, really particularly thankful this year about the time we get to spend together here with our friends and I could start talking and I talk to midnight of everybody that comes on each and every week or as much as I can. It become friends and part of our family. So just happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I appreciate you, love you all, and look forward to our next chapters together.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you very much, folks. This will wrap it up. Thank you to the person that we can do this show. Certainly, anywhere near the quality that we do it is Pat is saluting, and we're saluting Adam Dunn that does a great job. Adam's in Memphis on his Thanksgiving vacation and with the family, friends, and having a good time. I'm also thankful for all you guys. Thank you for who, I don't want to leave anybody else out, but all our family members of Team Hales that watches this show and supports this show, and we appreciate it very much. Everybody will probably be traveling coming up in the next few days, or most people will be, and we pray and good wishes and hope everybody's safe. And we'll be back next Tuesday on Talking Memphis Wrestling. As Bo says, I'm thankful to you guys for doing this show every week, and I'm certainly thankful to Bo James too. For Chris, for Pat, for those of us that's not here today, like a great Michael St. John, Rusty is not here today. The crew of Talking Memphis Wrestling, we appreciate you guys very much. Thanks for Chris and Pat for working on Thanksgiving Eve. Until next time, we say, fans, we see you next time on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Good night, everybody.
Selected and paid by parties other than this station, namely the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.